Filipina menolak gesaan China untuk mengalihkan kapal perangnya dari terumbu di Kepulauan Spratly berikutan insiden tembakan meriam air oleh kapal pengawal pantai China pada Isnin. Manila memberitahu Beijing mereka tidak akan meninggalkan beting yang menjadi pertikaian di Laut China Selatan tersebut.
Assalamualaikum to Firdaus. We are from Group 4, Class KAM 2284A, and we will present about the impact of the Spratly Island dispute. And this is prepared for Mr. Firdaus bin Ramli. My name is Nur Najwa Iman binti Nur Hazi and my matrix number is 2022461812. A traditional security threat can be defined as something that could hurt a country's safety in a normal way, like a war between countries, terrorist attacks, or disagreements about borders or resources. These are the types of problems that countries have been dealing with for a long time and often involve armies or fighting. Therefore, national borders are one of the important elements in national sovereignty, where the government has the power to take any action over its territory without the interference of foreign powers. Also, the South China Sea is an area of the sea that still does not have demarcated boundaries for the area where the claim occurs, such as the Spratly Islands, and have caused conflict among countries in Southeast Asia. Spratly Island, named after British whaler Captain Richard Spratly, discovered it in his expedition once he found Spratly Island and let reef on March 29, 1843. The Spratly Islands group, also known as the archipelago, is a collection of more than 230 shoals, reefs, and small, mostly uninhabited islands that are dispersed over an area of around 150,000 square miles in the South China Sea. They are located 230 miles east of the Vietnamese coast, 150 miles northwest of the Malaysian state of Sabah, 900 miles south of the Chinese island of Hainan, and 120 miles west of the Philippine island of Palawan. The Spratly Islands are subject to competing claims primarily from China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, while Malaysia and Brunei also assert ownership over specific areas. The legal framework for the Spratly Islands dispute primarily involves international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. UNCLOS defines the rights and responsibilities of nations in maritime zones, including territorial waters, exclusive economic zones (EEZs), and continental shelves. International laws and agreements which aim to solve problems can actually make things more complicated in the case of the Spratly Islands. For example, the Law of the Sea Convention states that one country has to own land to claim the sea around it. But since it is not clear who owns the Spratly Islands, this rule does not help. Also, the convention does not offer a good way to settle disagreements over who owns what in the sea. Spratly Islands are thought to be rich in natural resources like fisheries, natural gas, and oil because of their advantageous location along important trade lanes. Moreover, human activity has always been present in the Spratly Islands, including fishing, transportation, as well as the irregular settlement of military and fishing personnel. As stated before, the Spratly Islands dispute involves multiple countries, each with unique claims and historical backgrounds. Taiwan's claim is based on historical population and published maps dating back to 1947, particularly emphasizing Taiping Island. Vietnam's claim also stems from centuries-old presence dating to the 17th century, with South Vietnam affirming rights in conferences and military presence since 1975, which led to conflicts with China. Meanwhile, the Philippines bases its claim on the principle of res nullius due to historical abandonment until 1930, which was supported by international agreements and its EEZ considerations. Malaysia has asserted its claim through international law and military initiatives since 1977, especially focusing on the Law of the Sea map of 1979. Brunei's claim differs as it focuses solely on EEZ boundaries, which avoids military deployments, which lead to relatively calm disputes compared to other claimants. The Spratly Islands dispute is seen as a security threat because it involves several factors that raise concerns about stability and safety in the region, which includes military activities, territorial tensions, and strategic interests of the involved nation. Firstly, many of the countries involved in the dispute have conducted military activities in the area, including the construction of military facilities and conducting military exercises. These activities increase the risk of accidental clashes that could lead to conflict. Next is territorial tensions because of the overlapping territorial claims between the claimant countries over the Spratly Islands. The situation in the Spratly Islands can be understood through several key factors. First, countries in the area are making their military stronger. Second, there is a big demand for oil because the economies of the nearby countries are growing fast. Third, there are a lot of unclear rules about who owns what in the sea.
So my name is Nur Ain Inshira and I will be talking about the issue of the Spratly Island. The Spratly Islands dispute is a multifaceted issue. The contested ownership of these islands, coupled with the abundance of natural resources, has led to heightened competition among countries involved. Why? This competition has not only resulted in naval confrontations and the construction of military facilities but also poses significant risk to regional security and stability. Moreover, the involvement of major powers like the United States and China further complicates the situation. So, I'll be talking about the beginning of the issue. So, in the 1970s, South Vietnam occupied 3 of the Spratly Islands, including Spratly Island itself, to prevent China from taking control. Troops from Taiwan remained stationed on Itoaba. The Philippines then moved their forces to 7 of the remaining islands and constructed an airstrip on Pagasa Island in 1976. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which came into effect in the early 1980s, introduced the idea of exclusive economic zones (EEZ), extending 200 nautical miles, which are 370 kilometers from a country's coastline. This made the Spratlys more attractive due to their potential resources. By the late 20th century, Vietnam, China, Taiwan, Malaysia, and the Philippines all had conflicting claims to the Spratlys, each maintaining garrisons on various islands. So the next one is the causes of the Spratly Island issue, which is the first one is based on economic interests. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing practices exacerbates the problem, which leads to over-exploitation of fish stocks and environmental degradations. This affects the livelihoods of local fishermen and contributes to tensions among the countries involved in the dispute. However, exploration and extraction in the region are hindered by territorial disputes, legal complexities, and technological challenges. The second cause of this issue is the risk of conflict escalation. The Spratly Islands dispute is a complex issue involving multiple countries with overlapping territorial claims, including China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. The potential for conflict escalation in the region arises from various factors. Last cause is because of geopolitical struggles. The Spratly Islands issue is a tangled web of power struggles involving multiple countries, and it is not easy to untangle. At the heart of the matter is China's increasing strength both economically and militarily. China claims historical rights over most of the South China Sea, including the Spratly Islands, and has been busy building military bases there. So the next one, I'll be talking about the current state of the Spratly Islands. Currently, the Spratly Islands dispute remains unsettled, with tensions persisting among the countries involved. China continues to claim ownership of the entire South China Sea, including the Spratly Islands, citing historical evidence. It has expanded its presence in the region by building artificial islands, deploying military facilities, and exerting control over disputed territories. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei challenge China's claims and uphold their own sovereignty over parts of the Spratly Islands, citing international law, particularly the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Last one is the progress of Spratly Islands. In recent times, there have been notable developments in the Spratly Islands dispute, but progress toward resolving it has been slow. China has continued to assert itself in the region by constructing artificial islands, establishing military bases, and setting up an administrative system on contested landforms. These actions have sparked, among other claimant nations and the international community, leading to increased tension in the South China Sea. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei have all upheld their claims and occasionally voiced objections to China's activity in the Spratly Islands. Diplomatic efforts to address the dispute have persisted, including negotiations and multilateral discussions, but a comprehensive solution has yet to emerge. The involvement of external powers, notably the United States, have added complexity to the issue.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Intan Roshalakis. Next, I will be discussing about the implication of the Spratly Island issues, a controversial dispute involving multiple nations in the South China Seas. This is not just about theoretical claim, it is about the real implication that happened there. From environmental damage to rising military tensions and economic struggles, the Spratly Island affect the entire regions. Let's uncover the story behind the headline and explore why the Spratly Island matters so much to all of us. So firstly, the harmfulness of China economic activities. China Island building activities in the Spratly Island negatively impact fisheries in the surrounding area by disrupting habitats. What means by disrupting habitats and destroying coral reef is they are making it harder for fish population to thrive. Next, this could lead to increased fishing and also heightening tension in the regions. Secondly, regional stability and security are disrupted. Here, in simpler terms, dispute over the Spratly Island increase the risk of unintended conflict among claimant states. With limited communication channels and dispute resolution mechanisms, harsh naval standoff have made things worse. External involvement also, such as the US conducting freedom of navigation operation, also further complicates the situations. So third, escalation risk toward oil and natural resources. Competition for oil and natural gas in the South China Sea is intensifying tension among claimant states. While these resources present economic opportunity for countries like Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, and Taiwan, the competition also made tension between these nations stronger and increased the chance of conflicts. Last but not least, conflict in military occupations and theoretical security. Growing military presence and aggressive tactics by claimant states, particularly China and Vietnam, also raise the risk of armed confrontations. So here China making the Spratly Island more like military base shows they are getting tougher. This makes nearby countries feel they need to boost their own military power in return. So by explaining all of this, I can summarize that the Spratly Islands issues is a complex problem with far-reaching implications, from environmental damage to heightened military tensions. Understanding this implication is crucial for addressing the challenge to regional stability, security, and economy. So that's all for me.
Hi, my name is Sharifah Zarid Sophia binti Said Mohammed, and I will explain about the recommendations on the Spratly Island dispute. The first one is Mutual Development Scheme, International Joint Commission Approach, Multilateral Marine Peace Board, and last but not least is adherence to legal framework. The idea of joint development in the South China Sea as a solution to the Spratly Islands dispute emerged in 1980s, with China being one of the initial proponents. Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping introduced this approach during meetings with Philippines, proposing pursuing joint development while setting aside disputes. This scheme involves countries such as China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia collaborating rather than contesting the island. They agree to share resources like oil, petroleum, and fish and work together on infrastructure projects such as ports and research centers, while also committing to environmental protection and conflict avoidance. Additionally, countries must explain the benefits of joint development to their citizens to gain support. This collaborative approach not only prevents conflicts but ensures mutual benefits. The Timor Gap Treaty between Australia and Indonesia serves as a successful example of such cooperation. Overall, this strategy emphasizes teamwork to ensure the Spratly Islands are utilized wisely for the benefit of all involved. The International Joint Commission proposed the creation of an independent, neutral body comprising representatives from relevant countries and international entities to manage and resolve the Spratly Islands dispute. The IJC's effectiveness demonstrated in past disputes, like the Canada versus US boundaries issues, suggests its potential to promote peace and stability in the South China Sea. Studies such as those by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute (SIPRI) indicate a significant reduction in territorial tensions where joint commissions are implemented, highlighting the IJC's potential to mitigate tensions among the 6 claimant countries in the Spratly Islands. However, its success depends on the willingness of all involved countries to engage in dialogue and compromise, offering a pathway towards sustainable peace and security in the region. A multilateral marine peace pact has been recommended as a means to address the Spratly Islands dispute by promoting cooperation, environmental conservation, and sustainable management among the involved countries like China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia. This initiative involves designating the Spratly Islands and surrounding waters as a protected area jointly managed by these nations, enforcing strict regulations to protect coral fish, endangered species, and sensitive ecosystem. By preserving the natural environment, countries can foster mutual trust and cooperation, which is essential for peaceful dispute resolutions. The World Wildlife Fund (WWF) notes that protected marine areas can significantly increase fish biomass, providing economic benefits to coastal communities. Thus, establishing a multilateral marine peace pact can serve as a platform for confidence-building measures and diplomatic dialogue, contributing to reduce tensions and long-term stability in the South China Sea, while demonstrating the commitment of claimant states to the international law and peaceful conflict resolution. Last but not least is legal frameworks such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea UNCLOS and the Declaration of the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea (DOC) provide essential guidelines for managing maritime disputes and fostering stability in the South China Sea. The DOC, which includes commitment from ASEAN member states and China, emphasizes self-restraint and constructive handling of differences, such as refraining from inhabiting uninhabited features and avoiding actions that could escalate tensions. For instance, signatory parties bound by DOC refrain from provocative actions like unilateral military deployments or construction activities on dispute features and instead engage dialogue, confidence-building measures, and cooperative initiatives like resource development.
Now we are at the end of our presentation. The conclusion, what we can say is that China's growing military and economic power complicates efforts to resolve the Spratly Island dispute. Past instance shows that China may prioritize its national goals over sovereignty, issues which could lead to potential conflict. They must seriously consider alternative approach to handle others' claim of the Spratly Island. And next, prioritizing peaceful negotiation is also crucial for global peace. The Spratly Island issue should encourage dialogue and cooperation, not creating a big tension or even a conflict. So, that's all we can conclude. Thank you for listening, and I hope our presentation today helps everyone better understanding the Spratly Island dispute that everyone has been talking about. Thank you.